Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today as we are breaking out of this ascending triangle exactly like we predicted in our video yesterday. I want to talk about whether or not Bitcoin is going to see a continuation to the upside and reach our target of 61,000 US dollars, or if we're going to see a rug pull and potential downside for Bitcoin. And then when we look at what's happening to the 4-hour moving averages, for the first time we're seeing this 50 period cross over the 100 period moving average. The last time that happened, it was the initiation of this bull rally all the way to new all-time highs. There's a lot of dynamics playing part in the markets today. We're going to take a look at Ethereum as well. You can see we are seeing strength to the upside, breaking through 1760 exactly like we predicted, heading towards our target of 1933 and potentially even 2,000 US dollars. I want to talk about what's happening to Ethereum as we'll look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and then we'll take a look at what's happening to traditional markets like the S&P 500 and even gold, seeing some upside today. And then we'll look at international markets and cover a trade that we took on the graph. We have a lot to look at today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Abeidi. If you appreciate this content, remember to like this video. First, I want to talk about what's happening to Bitcoin exactly like we predicted in our video yesterday. We had this ascending triangle formation, and now we are breaking out and we have a target of 61,000 US dollars. I want to talk about whether or not Bitcoin is going to reach this target or not, and what are the key levels to watch at this point. Realize that right now we are obviously consolidating in this higher range above 41,950, which was the previous all-time high, and that is a very positive thing for Bitcoin. At this point, we are most likely going to form either a higher high or a lower high, and that's what I'm watching for right now for Bitcoin. Exactly like what happened in this initial consolidation, we came up and formed the all-time high, and then we came back up to form a lower high before seeing a continued period of consolidation. I think that that's exactly what's happening here for Bitcoin, and really what I'm wanting to see is whether or not this lower high is going to come at the $57,412 level, which is the previous weekly open, or if we're going to come up and even break through that to form new all-time highs into the 60,000 US dollar level to form a higher high. Those are two very potential scenarios. However, I do have a couple of concerns and puzzle pieces that I want to address, like what's happening to international markets, the Shanghai Composite, and in Hong Kong, we are seeing a lot of downside, and this is irregular compared to what's happening to the S&P 500, which is seeing a lot of upside right now and recovering from the recent downfall. And because international markets are struggling right now, I do want to put the bearish case on the table just in case we do see the rug pulled on us, because we know, of course, markets love to trick, trap, and frustrate traders. However, so far, the chart is always trying to tell us something, and right now, it's telling us things are bullish. We're seeing a crossover with these moving averages. The last time we saw the 50 period cross back above the 100 period moving average, we saw a continuation to the upside and new all-time highs, and so we have to keep that on the table, but realize that if we start to see the rug pulled on us, and it could happen at any point during this breakout towards the $61,000 level, I do want to continue to watch that $49,700 level. Of course, that's going to be a key support level if we start to see any sort of downside. And I personally didn't take a trade on Bitcoin just because of what's happening in international markets. I'd like to see more confidence before taking a trade, and of course, it just didn't fit my parameters. But on the 4-hour chart, we are above all of the Ichimoku cloud support and resistance areas, which is a very positive thing. And even if we come down to 49,700, we would still be above the Ichimoku cloud. And so if we start to see downside, that's going to be the key level to watch, in my opinion. If we see a breakdown of 49,700, that's when things could potentially get more bearish. But for now, even a bounce at this level would be very positive to see continuation of the upside if we start to see any downside there. But because we are above the weekly open and the monthly open, things are bullish, and we have to keep that into account and realize that that $61,000 level is a very, very likely target if we continue to see strength in the S&P 500 and some other markets, and we will address that. And then when we look at the volume, I am still a bit concerned about the volume. We've yet to see the institutional type of volume that we saw back in the end of February, and in the end of February we saw a lot of sell pressure from institutions. We've yet to see that type of buy pressure, and I'd like to see more of this type of volume if we want to assume a continuation to the upside right now, but things are looking good. Of course, that $49,700 level is going to be a very key support level, and out of all assets, of course, in the markets, Bitcoin is performing the best. And we will take a look at what's happening to Ethereum. I do want to cover the total cryptocurrency market cap really quick. Realize that we are on the path towards the previous weekly open here at that $1.718 trillion level. We're currently sitting at $1.65 trillion. So that would be a potential resistance area for the total cryptocurrency market for us to watch. And then with Ethereum, exactly like we predicted as well, as soon as we broke out of 1760, you can see that acted as a major breakout level. We saw a continuation of the upside. We've yet to reach our target of 1933. I do expect to see more strength for Ethereum, regardless if Bitcoin goes up or down. Realize that the Ethereum US dollar chart is going to really be based on what Bitcoin does. But when we look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, this is going to give us a better perspective on how Ethereum will perform against Bitcoin. And so far, you can see we are below the current weekly open after seeing a pullback from this major resistance that I told you guys was going to act as a resistance, but we are maintaining the previous weekly open at 33,600 Satoshis. I would like to stay above the previous weekly open since we've already breached below the weekly open in order to assume that this is just another small correction before continued upside for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. But so far things are of course very bullish here, since on the weekly chart we are above the 20-week moving average, and we saw a very nice bounce here at the 50-week moving average. And so realize that the tape is very bullish for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, especially since we're also above the 100 and 200 period moving average. But I would like to stay above 33,600 to assume some more strength in the shorter term time frames. Of course, if we break down from this previous weekly open, then we do have this monthly open here, but I wouldn't like us to get below 32,500, which the monthly open is below that level. I would like to see some support at the 200 period moving average at most if we see continued correction here, which is right at that $32,500 level. We don't want to go below that, but right now things are still very bullish for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart based on where the moving averages are and where price action is currently consolidating. So we do want to keep this in mind, and then realize that we also have this potential head and shoulder pattern, but I don't know if this is going to play out since we've already seen the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart so oversold. I'm not a big fan of head and shoulder patterns in general. It's a very subjective pattern, but just realize that so far we are very bullish for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and regardless of what Bitcoin does, Ethereum has the potential of seeing new all-time highs, and it also has the potential of just seeing more strength in general than Bitcoin. Even if we see Bitcoin come down, I think Ethereum will still show more strength overall. When we look at what's happening to others' dominance, though, you can see we did see this gap down after reaching our target here of around that 12.15% dominance, but we are still above this ascending support level, and that is acting very well for us. For those that are in our Discord, you know we've been taking a lot of altcoin trades because of the fact that there's so much opportunities in the altcoin market right now. I will cover some of the trades that we've been taking on our Discord group. For those not in our premium Discord group, the links are in the description below, and I do want to give away one of my favorite books on investing before we get into Bitcoin dominance, Trading Psychology, the Bible for all traders. If you want to win this book, just comment below and share this video, and you will be entered into the giveaway, and I'll pick a winner in our video tomorrow. And we will cover what's happening in Bitcoin dominance here. You can see we are currently above the weekly open, but we are below 61.75, which is a major level for Bitcoin dominance. If we continue to stay below 61.75, I do believe we will see a continuation to the downside when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, and that means that we'll see a continuation of the altcoin cycle, which is very positive for the overall cryptocurrency market, of course. And then when we switch over to traditional markets, the DXY, of course, having a huge impact on this market. You can see we are now finding support at the 91.92 area here for the DXY. This is a major level, just like that $49,700 level is a major area for Bitcoin. We have this support at 91.92. If we stay above 91.92, we could assume further upside for the DXY towards the resistance of 92.62, but because we came very close to 92.62, but then saw a reversal, that does show a little bit of weakness. So I'd be interested to see whether or not this breaks down from 91.92 to come down to retest the daily moving average that it broke through here at the 100 period, and that would be at that 91.24 level. Of course, we also have that 91.015 here as a major support for the DXY, but really this chart is affecting markets, but not necessarily the way that we'd expect it to. Of course, with US oil, typically this has an inverse relationship with the dollar, but we're also seeing strength to the upside right now. We are seeing a little bit of a correction here, but we do want to monitor what's happening to the DXY and how it's affecting markets into the next coming weeks in order to have a proper understanding of all of the dynamics playing part here. Because when we look at gold as well, you can see regardless of the DXY strengthening, we're seeing strength to the upside for gold, fighting to maintain the support level, and now above the two major support at 1690 and 1703 and above the weekly open. We do have a potential reversal here for gold, but we will continue to monitor this because on the weekly chart you can see we've yet to even come down and test the 100 period moving average, which is really close to the current price action. So we don't know what's going to happen here. We know we're under a death cross on the daily chart, and so we will continue to watch gold, but so far we are holding this support level. If this breaks, that could assume more downside. Of course, gold is seeing a lot of pressure with Bitcoin and a lot of investors hedging into Bitcoin instead of gold. And I think that has a huge part in what's happening to the gold price, because we're not seeing this type of weakness with silver or platinum, but those have actual use cases versus gold, which is really just jewelry and a storage of value. But now we have Bitcoin. And so of course that's having a huge effect on gold. And then this is why I personally didn't have a Bitcoin or Ethereum trade open in the last few days. When we look at what's happening in traditional markets, you can see the S&P 500 today is doing very well. We're breaking out of this resistance. We potentially could have already have bottomed out, and now we may see a continuation to the upside, even see new all-time highs. If that happens, that's going to be very strong for Bitcoin. I don't know if we'll see that happen just yet because of how severe this correction was. We haven't seen a correction like that in quite a while, but realize that this is going to have a huge impact on Bitcoin. And so far, the S&P 500 is outperforming a lot of the other international markets. The Euro 100 is doing very well, forming new yearly highs, but we know this has been a very weak market in general. So we look at international markets, you can see we're not seeing as much strength here in Japan. And really what concerns me is what's happening in Shanghai. Another daily candle seeing a major drop to the 200 period moving average, breaking through the 100 period moving average. And then we look at what's happening in Hong Kong, very similar to Shanghai, coming down towards that 200 period moving average. We could argue that a lot of the tech space is seeing a pullback since they saw so much strength in 2020, because we look at the NASDAQ, it's quite similar to what's happening to these international markets that are showing weakness. We're not seeing as much of a recovery. However, we do want to keep this on the table because even Bitcoin was a big beneficiary of the markets in 2020, but we're not seeing weakness in Bitcoin, but we are seeing weakness in all of the markets that were big beneficiaries of 2020. Of course, we know Bitcoin is such an amazing asset, so we love to see strength in Bitcoin. However, it is a puzzle piece on the table that there is weakness in international markets. I think it's fair to keep that on the table and assume that until we start to see more strength in the international markets, that there could be a potential rug pull. And so we do want to keep that in mind. And then I do want to cover a trade that we took here for the graph. This was a very beautiful trade that resulted in massive profits. You can see we sent this trade out on the 8th of March here at 7 p.m. This has already resulted in over 10% profits in less than 24 hours, which is why we are trading a lot of these altcoins. And you can see I sent this here at 7 here with an entry at 1.93565 for those in our Discord group. For those not in the Discord group, once again, the link is in the description below. And this was a very nice triangle breakout. You can see we had this resistance area, found resistance here once, twice, and then we went ahead and drew this as a resistance level. And then you can see we had this very nice support level that has held for the graph. And we know this, a fundamentally great project, is getting a lot of attention. As soon as we started to come up and test this resistance level, I knew that there was going to be a potential breakout here. So as soon as we started to stay above the weekly open, I sent out this trade with an entry at 1.93565. And you can see as soon as we got above that level, we saw a major push to the upside, resulting in over 10% profit. So congratulations to those that took this trade. On the 4-hour chart, you can also see on the Ichimoku cloud, we were above the Ichimoku cloud, breaking out of this. So a lot of bullish signs here. And then of course, with the 4-hour moving averages, we were also above all 4-hour moving averages, which led to me sending out this signal for you guys. So congratulations to those that took that trade. I do want to pick a book giveaway winner for our video yesterday, and we will wrap up this video. For those that are yet to subscribe to our channel, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on those post notifications to get our updates first. Sharif says, I love how you try and put all puzzle pieces together from the international markets. Keep up the good work, Sniper. Go ahead and send me a message on Instagram, Sharif. The link is in the description below. You went ahead and won a book. And to conclude my opinion here on Bitcoin, once again, Bitcoin at face value is very bullish right now. Of course, even Ethereum is extremely bullish right now. We do have this target of 61,000 US dollars as long as we don't get the rug pulled on us. And so my only concern right now is what's happening to the Shanghai Composite, what's happening in Hong Kong. Of course, those traditional markets are down. Bitcoin is an international asset, so we have to keep that in mind because that's not typical to see the international markets falter while seeing traditional markets in the US like the S&P 500 see strength. It's just not typical, right? And so we want to keep that in mind. And then a lot's happening to the DXY and US oil. So it just wasn't a time for me to personally take a trade. If I were to have entered a position, it would have been with Ethereum at the monthly open, the previous monthly open retest, which was at 1312.50. I did miss that, unfortunately, but of course you can't catch them all. And so right now with Bitcoin, I am expecting upside. I'm expecting potentially new all-time highs. However, if we see the rug pulled on us at any point this week, that $49,700 level is going to be that key support area for me. But until then, things are bullish at face value. I'm going to continue to trade the altcoins that are showing market structural breakout formations, of course, as always. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, snipers out.